Oh my! Howdy, folks.
We're back. Again.
Welcome to what I like to refer to as our big money maker, the DEADPIT Review Series.
That's right.
We review all kinds of shit.
We do. It's insane, the amount of films we review.
We've talked about a lot of films over the years. We've talked about our love for certain films, including Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we also did a review for. We've talked about Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Halloween and Hellraiser and all the classic films. But just as classic of those is the Italian gore masterpiece that we've also referenced 1,000 times on the show, but never really reviewed. Lucio Fulci's
The Beyond.
Oh my God.
Can you remember the first time you saw The Beyond?
I actually do. This is something I was talking to a fella about here recently, which is, I remember the first time I saw The Beyond. I remember the first time I saw Zombie. I remember the first time I
Cannibal
saw
Holocaust.
City of the Living Dead and Cannibal Holocaust. Most of these films, the first time I saw them was with you, because you were the one getting all the Anchor Bay shit back in the day, and that's where most of these films came from on DVD.
Honestly, a lot of these movies, I don't know if I would ever try if it wasn't for... Now, I've been into getting free shit for years, folks, just to be honest. There was a program called Free Ride that would give you Amazon gift card, $25 gift card. I'd average about two $25 gift cards a week for probably about 6 months. And I'd get all these movies. Phenomena, I think, was one of the early ones. I'd gotten City of the Living Dead was probably, I think it was like the second DVD that I ever bought. So I was aware of Fulci. And when Anchor Bay released their DVD version, I was like, fuck it, I'm getting it. Because everybody on the message boards and stuff that I was on at the time was bragging this movie up. The Beyond. It's like, this is the ultimate Fulci movie. And it really is. I mean, it's kind of... in a way, Fulci's epic horror film, if there is one, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, I guess it's like Fulci's Empire Strikes Back or something. Like, it's the one where everything seemed to fall together in place.
And definitely, of all the ones that I've seen of his good films, because I haven't seen a lot of the really shitty ones, his... it feels like a grander movie than the other ones that he did, like, Zombie. Even though Zombie has somewhat of that feeling, but you can also tell that it's all, we just rushed and filmed like one real quick scene here in New York and done. This one, I think, had a grander scale because, of just the music and exactly, the story or the plot behind the movie.
And we've talked about this movie a million times, but just to rehash a little bit, starts off with it's in New Orleans like 100 years ago, something like that. Don't even remember now. While back, basically.
Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days where
Dio was a baby.
They've captured this guy who you assume is there's a warlock or something like that, and this group of guys whips him to death and tortures him to death and walls him up in this hotel in New Orleans. And really graphic scene, great scene, like one of the better opening scenes to any horror film to come out around that time.
No doubt.
You fast forward to present day, modern day, and there's this lady, Catriona McCall, who we've actually had a chance to meet.
We interviewed her.
Yeah. Who, I guess, does she just inherit the hotel, or does she just go there?
I think she buys it.
She buys it?
She buys the property.
Trying to fix it back up. And all this weird kind of stuff starts to happen, like the painter gets hurt, and then there's this weird subplot with the psychic that starts seeing all this stuff that's going to happen, and then she's like freaked out by it. And the Beyond is, the alternate title was Seven Doors of Death, which is like it opens, like something happens and the seven doors to an alternate universe get open.
And all hell breaks loose.
Literally hell, I guess, starts to come in.
The movie has so many freaky fucking scenes in it. Well, one that always freaked me out and literally did scare me, and that's a big thing because it doesn't really happen too much. The first time I saw the movie, I was by myself late at night. I think that was around the time I was going to night school or something, so this was probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I was watching this movie. And, the whole sequence where the maid is draining the tub, and there is Bob, the plumber, raising up out of the tub. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just I just wasn't expecting it or whatever at the time. And the look of Bob himself was like, you know, just a big bearded guy, but he's definitely, like, I think they widened his eyes out. They did that a lot with a lot of people in the movie.
Boob.
And it's just really, with the music and the way they shot that, it really freaked me out, I think.
I don't know how many scenes in this movie actually freaked me out. Probably the whole goddamn movie, because really, it has a phantasm quality to it. Meaning, like, it feels like a dream, and you don't really know why things are happening. Like, it doesn't follow a plot, really. It's just, it skips from one really weird occurrence to another, and everything's just bizarre.
Well, I think when Catriona McCall's character runs into Cynthia Moriarty, or whatever the hell her name is, the blonde lady, that's when it really you're kind of like, wow, this is fucking, what in the fuck's going on here, you know? Because this girl's blind, and she's just really bizarre. She has that German Shepherd dog with her, and she kind of, I think she was one of the people that kind of is from both dimensions or something. The movie's really weird. Like, the plot of the movie, it's not really easy to follow, as is any of Fulci's movies.
Yeah, I would say that, like, Zombie is probably only straight Fulci film where he was, like, trying to make an actual
New York Reaper was pretty easy to follow.
Straight movie, yeah, I guess, too. But you look at, like, House by the Cemetery and The Beyond and all the other weird little films that he made in there, too, and they're all, like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? And I guess that's the effect he wanted to have, because Argento was making that type of movie around that time, too, where you're just like, what in the fuck? Like, the Italians are not big on straight storytelling. Like, you know, here's a movie, here's the plot, and here's the, you know, the antagonist and the protagonist, and, like, what's going on.
But you know what, man? I think that works a lot of times.
It does, especially in horror films.
You don't really need to know everything. That's the thing I hate so much about American movies is, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, for one. You see Leatherface squirt out of his fucking mom. Why? What does that add to anything?
I don't know what happened in the mid-2000s, but somebody in Hollywood was like, we've got to describe every fucking thing that happens in
Somebody thought
the backstory of a movie.
One day they're like, I just want to see Michael Myers as a little boy running out of the school and the Halloween music playing. That would be amazing.
You know what I think it was? Actually, now that I think about it, I know what I think happened. It was fucking George Lucas and them goddamn prequels. That's what happened. Like, that's where everybody got the idea.
To George Lucas.
That's where everybody got the idea of, hey, we should go back in time and see how all this shit got started. Like, and how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. And all. Who gives a fuck?
Have you ever seen that documentary, The People versus George Lucas?
No.
It's on, I think it's on Netflix. You need to watch it. It's fucking awesome.
I'm already enough against George Lucas.
So, anyway, The Beyond, Arrow Video actually did this release right here.
This is the best one, though. I really do.
But word got out recently that Grindhouse, and that's the one that owns The Beyond, they're going to be re-releasing all their stuff on Blu-ray here shortly.
I'll tell you this, too. And I really like a lot of the companies like Anchor Bay and Blue Underground and things like that that put out some of these movies. But Arrow, like when they were releasing this stuff that was region free, it is the best shit. It's the best packaging.
They don't really do that anymore, though.
No, they don't. But like Day of the Dead, the Arrow Day of the Dead, it fucking like blows anything else out of the water. It does this one too. Like the Beyond version, this version of the Beyond, it's just you should buy them. Like, I really do think this is the versions of these movies you should buy. Even though I don't know, are they out of print now? Do they go over in?
I think you could still get them, but, you know, I think they got in some legal issues with making them region free. So, no more.
But anyway.
You can see the studios that are releasing said movies, and you'll know who made a fuss about it. I'll just say that. But anyway, Fulci, this is his all-time classic. This is my favorite Fulci movie. I love all 4 or 5 of them that he had right in a row there that was good, but the other ones, not so much.
You didn't like the Psychic?
I like Psychic, alright. Conquest and shit like that now. That's a little too weird.
Did you like, what was that one, Door into Darkness?
No. I just flat out hated that one. But anyway, The Beyond. And we'll be back at some point with some more reviews for you guys. Exclusively here on the YouTube page of DEADPIT.com and stuff.